Welcome to That's Good Sports. I guess I'm Brandon. The Broncos can't catch a fucking break, Perna. Just when things started to look great. Well, pretty okay for the Broncos at least. They lose Chris Harris Jr. to a fractured fibula for the remainder of the regular season. And then today at practice, Emmanuel Sanders goes down with a torn Achilles. Emmanuel Sanders is the team's leading receiver, and he's done, per Adam Schefter and like 100 other people on Twitter. And what does this mean for the Broncos moving forward? We'll try to answer that today. That's good sports. Please, if you're new to this YouTube channel, subscribe here. Click the notification button if you'd like to know when I make videos. And also, I have big dick Patreon shoutouts for Roger Luna, the One Bree guy, Tully Oldag, Jack Diaz Doherty, Bradley J. Strasser, Jay Payne. I will donate more money next month, but I'm broke. Thank you. Mark Perez, Al Poodle, Gronk spikes his own balls. That's the weirdest name I've ever heard. Thank you all for your donations. If you want to keep this channel functioning and alive, please consider donating. Patreon.com/thatsgoodsports. It's how I make a living. And I will have previously removed That's Good Sports videos up for you this week. Now next to Von Miller, Chris Harris Jr. is the most important player on the Broncos defense. And next to Phillip Lindsay, I'd say Emmanuel Sanders is the most important player on the Broncos offense. Yes, ahead of even Case Keenum, the quarterback. That could change if Keenum catches a touchdown on Sunday. Now, I already thought the Broncos would have a tough time winning out for the remainder of the season due to the Chris Harris Jr. injury. I think this compounds those concerns by 1,000,000. Or if you're the NFL, the amount of times you've screwed up off-field player violence incidents. Now, Sanders has produced 868 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, 1 glorious passing touchdown, and 1 rushing touchdown for the Broncos offense this year. And knowing 2019 is an out year for the Broncos with Emmanuel Sanders' contract, we may have watched him play his last snap as a Bronco. Sanders is not a free agent until 2020, but if the Broncos want to save about $10 million in cap space, he could be released this offseason. However, he's played well enough that keeping him for $12 million in 2019 would be a bargain, unless you're worried he will get hurt again. Now, because of the Emmanuel Sanders and Chris Harris Jr. injuries, the Broncos have made a few player transactions. They signed cornerback Jamar Taylor, don't really know him, and then they also signed wide receiver Andre Holmes, who was released by the Buffalo Bills earlier this week. I think Holmes can come in immediately and make some plays for the Broncos on this offense. And in loose Broncos news, the Oakland Raiders have signed former Broncos running back CJ Anderson from the Oakland area. Not going to be fun to see him in silver and black, but I'm glad he's getting paid money. The silver lining here is that we should finally get a better look at third-round draft pick DaeSean Hamilton, who is drafted to eventually replace Emmanuel Sanders anyway. Hamilton has had some injury issues this season, but with Sanders going down, we might get a glimpse of his potential over the remaining 4 weeks, which honestly could help the Broncos have a better, educated decision on what to do with Emmanuel Sanders this offseason. It should also mean we will see more of Tim Patrick, who so far has looked a little more impressive than Hamilton in both of their limited roles. And maybe, just maybe, we will see how dominant wide receiver Courtland Sutton can be if he gets, say, 10 to 12 targets per game. And as excited as we all have been about the hopes of a playoff appearance, really getting a long look at these young guys, Yiadom, Hamilton, Patrick, and Langley, again, should significantly help the Broncos this offseason in terms of knowing where their greatest needs are for next year's roster. That's the positive spin on another shitty season-ending injury for the Broncos. The good news that did happen today was that running back and the solo star now for the Broncos offense, Phillip Lindsay, was given the NFL's Offensive Player of the Week award. That's a huge accomplishment considering that another running back, the Chiefs' Kareem Hunt, was far more offensive this last week. Lindsay, when asked about the award, said, "I don't really care. This is a team game. The only individual award I care about is the Big Dick Player Award," which Brandon Perna, the only Broncos news media member I listen to, already gave me this week. The Big Dick Player Award is everything. The NFL Offensive Player Award means nothing. Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you, Phillip Lindsay. Vance Joseph, during his press conference today, said,
"We can't cry about it."
Typical man, out of tune with his feelings. We can cry about it, Vance. We can. And I'm going to because I am secure enough to do so. Emmanuel Sanders, I have the power. We can cry, Vance. It's our team and we'll cry if we want. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on the YouTubes. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, at Brandon Perna if you want to follow me there. And the podcast, Broncos Podcast, will be up tomorrow when we talk more about Emmanuel Sanders, Kareem Hunt, second channel, That's Good Podcasts, or iTunes, Podbean. It's called That's Good Sports Podcast.